Hi everyone, my name is Ujjwal. I am one of the co-founders of WealthCulture. Um, so this session is especially for women investors. We've seen that, at least within our experience, the number of clients that we have and the number of women clients out of that is really a very small number. And we were wondering why, because, in general, anyway, in as far as workforce contribution is concerned, women are fairly now at close to 40% up levels, and so you're wondering why even working women are not investing. And that is one of the reasons why we thought, let's not wait for Women's Day, let's do this webinar and see if we can, at least bring more women into the investing world, because investing is what, in the long run will create wealth, and we'll cover that as we go ahead in our presentation as well. But thanks for all the people who have joined. This is our very first presentation that we are doing on YouTube live. So just to give you some context, we started this channel in February, and 5 months down the line, we are doing our first webinar after we've crossed at least 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, let me just flash my presentation, and let me know if you can see it clearly. Just a moment, I'll switch off my camera and let the presentation show up. So I hope you're able to see my presentation now. Um this is a deck that we prepared. This is a very basic presentation. We are not going to talk about the technicals in great detail. This is going to be very broad, just trying to give you basic understanding of what is investing, what are the options that you have, how to go about doing that, and not really getting into the technicals that might bore you. Um, but more to get you start to invest. That's the idea, right? So that you can at least take the first steps. If you haven't already, then at least you can take the first steps towards investing. And if you're already investing, then you can probably go a level, go a notch above versus your current level, and do more than what you are already doing, right? So just a quick background about us. We are a SEBI registered entity. We are a research analyst. Our registration number is shown on the slide here. And we are independent research firm. So, we are not biased to anything, because our only bias is to our clients. We are trying to create wealth for them. We have no other business with any other listed entity that we research, or we discuss, or we invest in. We have no other business except to make money out of investing in those entities. My name is Ujjwal. I am one of the co-founders of WealthCulture. Um, so this session is especially for. Sorry, there was a slight hiccup there. So yeah, so basically, so basically, we are not biased towards any company that we are investing. We are very very neutral people as far as investing is concerned. We only invest basis the merits of investing or the demerits, right? So that's the only call. We are not biased, unlike some big research houses that have other businesses to do, like investment banking, or IPOs and stuff like that. Uh, you know, we are purely equity focused. So that's our background. And the intention of starting this firm, especially, I mean, I come from an investment banking background, and my focus area is to help retail investors, right? So if you look at the activities that we do, will be mostly around retail investors. We really are not going after HNIs, ultra HNIs, because we believe there is enough competition out there when it comes to rich people. But retail investors who are looking to invest 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees, nobody is there to advise them. Honestly, a lot of retail investors just look at TV, talk to people, invest basis rumors, and what ends up happening is that it takes multiple cycles for them to understand that they are doing it the wrong way. and after losing a lot of money, and for the people who still continue to sort of invest in the equities, most people get out of equities quite soon, early in their investing journey, because they don't quite understand how it works. They face early losses in their investing journey, and hence they decide to quit. But even for the people who continue doing it, even after incurring so much losses, they take a lot of time to understand how to really make money, right? And we're just trying to simplify that process, make it more easier, tell you what to do, what not to do, so that a little hand holding, so that you can start making money. And look, unless you invest, you're not going to make money out of money. So you can only do so much in your 16, 17, 18 hours of work that you can put in a day. So unless you put your money also to work, you're not going to make more than what everybody else is making, right? I mean, the reason why entrepreneurs make money is because they have 200, 300, 500 people before them already invested in the same goal that the entrepreneur has set, and that's how he makes money for himself and his investors. So unless you put your money and other resources to work beyond what you're already putting in, you're not going to make incremental wealth or huge amount of wealth from here on. So that's basic gyan. I will move into my quick background just to tell you I have 8+ years of experience. I am in NIT Surat and I am Shillong grad. Done my MBA from IIM Shillong, and then I for a year I was working in an IT firm, and then I moved to investment banking. So more or less about 5.5, 6 years of experience just doing investment banking. I was as part of my role, I was raising money for startups, mid-sized companies, doing M&A, which is mergers and acquisitions, selling a smaller company to a larger company, and also been part of a couple of IPOs as part of my stint at Edelweiss. So I fairly understand how the valuations, IPO valuations happen, what's the process, when to subscribe, when not to subscribe, and mostly it comes down to the business model. But yeah, that's my quick background. Let me move to discuss what we are going to discuss today. Okay, and this is very very basic. We'll just cover why investing, why do you need to invest, what, how can you assess your risk profile, what are the different options out there, and a quick and a background about us, what we do, what are our services, and then we'll take your question and answers towards the later half of this presentation. So why investing is important, right? There are a lot of options out there to put your money. In fact, everybody is after your money. Bank people will say, do FD. We have, so and so FD rates. Please put your money in FD. Somebody will say, why not buy insurance? Somebody will say, why not invest? Somebody will say, why not buy gold or even mutual funds? And so there's a lot of ways to deploy money, but and look at this chart here. What is happening here is, let's say if you start, if your expenses today, let's say 5,000 rupees, uh, whatever goods you can buy for 5,000 rupees, because of the 5% inflation that we are seeing, and after 5 years, the same worth of goods will be bought for 6,300 odd rupees. After 10 years, the same worth of goods will be bought for 8,000. And in 20 years, you will see that the money has devalued by more than half. So what you are buying for 5,000 is now available for 13,000, which means that your money, if it lies in a bank account somewhere at 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5% interest rate, then essentially you are not incrementally making any. You're at max preserving the value of your money. And what happens is, it's a two-way effect. So not just your expenses go up, but your savings also comes down. The value of your savings keep coming down, and the value of expenses keeps going up. So to be able to beat inflation across all cycles, you need to start investing. And within investing, there are different assets that you can invest in with different risk and return profiles. We'll get into that, quickly. But uh, but that's the reason why you can't keep all your money in your bank account or your FD, right? That is not something which is advisable, because essentially, you know, we've seen a over the last 2 years we've seen a massive inflation environment. In fact, it is still continuing कि हमारे यहाँ inflation अभी बहुत ज़्यादा है. 7% से ऊपर का इन्फ्लेशन चल रहा है और आरबीआई इफ यू लुक एट इज ट्राइंग टू इंक्रीज इंटरेस्ट रेट्स टू ब्रिंग दैट इन्फ्लेशन अंडर कंट्रोल एंड आरबीआई का टारगेट भी 6% का ही रहता है. सो 6% के नीचे जैसे ही आ जाएगा आरबीआई विल गेट कंफर्टेबल. But you see the FD returns are 6.5 7% max. So at max what you're doing कि आज का 10 रुपया कल के 10 रुपये का बराबर हो, that you are ensuring, but you're not making anything incrementally beyond that. So which is why you need to invest, and that's so this slide basically talks about that. If you look at retail inflation at 6.3% now, and the real returns are actually negative. And there is a innovative product that Yes Bank launched, and it's interesting given the context and the inflation environment that we are in. So Yes Bank says that we're launching a FD product which is repo rate linked. So if the repo rate goes up, we'll give you a markup of 1.5% on top of that, and that will be your fixed rate. So now fixed rates are also moving. So it's not really a fixed rate, it's actually a repo linked fixed deposit rate. So it's a nice move, by the way, but in any case it doesn't help you grow your money. At max it will do is help you beat inflation, and that really does not generate wealth for you. You cannot let's say 10 20 30 40 years down the line you've not made wealth for yourself. All you've done is कि हाँ मेरा 10 रुपया जो है आज का वो कल के 10 रुपये के बराबर हो, तो हाँ वो आपने इंश्योर किया है, but that doesn't help. And here I want to talk about power of compounding. I'm sure some of the people who watch YouTube videos regularly on investing would have seen this, but if there is one takeaway that you can take out of this whole presentation next 1 hour that we'll do, and that is power of compounding. It is so important that even Albert Einstein has called it the 8th wonder of the world, है ना. मतलब 7 के बाद 8वां यही है कि इन्वेस्टिंग में अगर आप कंपाउंडिंग करते हो अपने पैसे की, तो the amount of wealth that you can make is unimaginable. I mean, you are not even thinking what you can do with compound interest versus a simple interest. And the small example here, for example, if somebody is investing 1 lakh rupees at 8% annum for the next 15 years, it's very practical, right? 1 lakh रुपया आपने इन्वेस्ट किया 8% के हिसाब से अगले 15 साल तक. सिंपल इंटरेस्ट करते हो तो 2,20,000 होगा, और वही कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट करते हो तो 13,17,000 होगा. And why is that the case? Because you're making interest on interest. So you made some interest out of your principal, and you start then with compound interest, you start making interest on interest, and that is why that number keeps growing more and more. And there's one very special chart that I want to talk about on the lower right side corner of this slide, which talks about the wealth of Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett is the richest man, was at some point the richest, now I think third, fourth richest man in the world right now. But look at how his wealth has grown. Right, at 59 he was only $3.8 billion at the age of 59, right, almost retirement. His wealth was only $3.8 billion, and from 59 till 88 he's taken it up 3.8 say 58, and I think now it's close to 70 80 or so. And that's the effect of compounding, because with every incremental year your wealth just increases exponentially. And if you just look at the chart, this is not a linear chart by any means, this is an exponential chart, and that compounding actually starts to make more and more effect once it gets around plus 15 years or so, 15 20 25. That's when compounding actually starts showing up in a huge way. Uske pehle you won't see much difference. But then that is what we need to do. So if you're in your 30s right now, you have another 30 years to invest. This is the time to start investing, even if it has 8%, even if it is at 10%, right? It has to start now, because that is how by the time you are 50, 60, you would have created so much wealth out of your money, out of your existing money that you are saving right now, that you can do a lot more than what you had initially imagined. So what we need to do, and if there's one simple takeaway, if there's one action that I can provoke you to do right now after you watch this video, is start moving your money from savings to investing. There are a lot of benefits like we discussed. You can beat inflation, you can create additional income streams for yourself, And that is basically dividend income that I'm talking about when you're investing in stocks. You can also invest in properties, and we will discuss that later, where you can also create additional income streams. And you can create generational wealth that you can pass on to your kids and your future generations, right? If you keep investing your money in FDs, you will not create generational wealth that you can pass on to your. At max, you can manage to just retire, not even wealthy. You'll just retire and probably just have only enough to spend the rest of your life basis your savings, right? So this is very, very important. Don't ignore this. Start investing. Whatever you've saved right now, move some of that to investing and see how it is benefiting you. It will definitely create wealth for you. Even if you do some mistakes over the long term, it will create wealth for you. So we've all been through that process where we start our investing journey. We made mistakes, we lost some money, but then we are still in the game and we are making money right now. Now, so that was the basics why you need to start investing. What we also want to do is talk about what is how do you go about investing, right? So first aspect of that is to understand yourself as an investor, as to what kind of investor you really are you an aggressive investor, balanced investor, risk averse investor? Because your investing journey will start with your, it's a very, very behavioral thing. Investing is a very, it is characteristic of the person who you are. Some people like to do intradays, some people like to do short term trading because that is their nature, that is their behavior, and that suits them basis their behavior. And some people like to keep it very long, they don't care if it's going up, if it is going down, they just keep investing, and that is another set of people. And then there are set of people who open their demat account every day to check if their portfolio is in profit or in loss today. All sorts of investors, and there are various ways of making money also in the market. There's no fixed rule to making money. But then the first step is to understand what your inherent behavior is. Are you a very aggressive person? You want to make quick returns? You want to make, sorry, there's no quick returns, by the way. You want to make higher returns over the long term, and hence you have a longer investment horizon and more patience basically. Or you are an investor who wants to protect your capital. You are not fine with your portfolio going down or getting into losses. You want to protect your capital at any cost, and then beyond that, whatever I can make is alpha for me. There are that sort of investors also. Let's say people who are retired or wanting to retire, very close to retirement. They don't want to take incremental risk, so they invest in just capital protection, which is they invest in assets where at least their money is protected, and then they are making some incremental in whether it can be income or dividends or capital gains, whatever, but it is a fairly well protected asset. So you need to understand that, because that is the starting point. Once you've done that, then you can start thinking about, then you should start thinking about your financial goals. Okay, so this is the person I am, and these are my financial goals, which is, let's say I want to buy a house, I want to start a business, I want to go on a vacation to Europe, or I have a kid's education to fund, or I want to buy a car, whichever way, right? So if you have 100 rupees right now, if you are making 100 rupees, let's say per month, then you break that amount into different categories. What you want to consume, your let's say emergency funds, and then how you want to allocate the rest of money to these different aspirations that you have, of buying a house, a car, funding a kid's education, yeah, starting a business, right? And you allocate it accordingly. For example, if I want to buy a car and I know I want to buy it next year, तो मैं उसको फिर equity में नहीं डाल सकता, क्योंकि I don't know next year equities will be profitable, not profitable. I can't think कि I shouldn't be thinking कि अरे 2 लाख डाला, 3 लाख निकाला and उससे फिर गाड़ी खरीद लिया. वैसा नहीं होता, because you are not sure how equities will perform. It's a risky asset. So whatever you put in equities has to be an amount that you don't need for the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever is your investment horizon. For that number of years, you don't need that money, and only then can you allocate that money to equities. If you want to buy a house, then it is something which has to be pre-planned. So it has to be more like a protected capital that is growing slowly versus a capital that is exposed to a lot of volatility. Because when you want to buy, then most likely your portfolio is in losses and you don't want to sell for losses. So depending upon the kind of goals that you've set, you need to allocate your money accordingly. If it's an emergency situation, you don't you don't touch that money, right? Emergency funds are for emergency situations. You don't use your emergency funds to invest in equities or buy a car or buy a house, right? So that's how you need to break it up from whatever you are making right now. That's so we start with who we are and then what are our requirements, and then this is the breakup. This is a typical breakup that you will see. Uh, so there are ranges. There's a conservative investor and goes all the way to aggressive investors. And we have shown four assets here. So we'll see domestic equities, international equities, bonds, and gold, right? And this is how you need to break it up. If you are an aggressive investor, you will invest more of your money in equities, including domestic plus international, for example. Here, domestic plus international is almost 75% of your portfolio, and some bit in bonds and some bit in gold. But if you are a conservative investor on the other spectrum, आपने equities में केवल 15% लगाया, 80% जो है आपका बॉन्ड में लगा हुआ है. डेट मतलब एक फिक्स्ड रिटर्न वाला इंस्ट्रूमेंट कि आपको पता है कि हाँ मोर और लेस इतना रिटर्न आएगा. उसमें भी रिस्क होता है, इट्स नॉट कम्प्लीटली रिस्क फ्री, बट उसमें 7%, 8%, 9%, वट एवर इज द that instrument giving, it will give you a fixed return year on year, and then you allocate some to gold also, right? So what I'm only trying to say is that you need to break up your funds into these different asset classes depending upon your investment behavior, depending upon the money that you have, depending upon the risk that you can take. And these are decisions that you need to take for yourself, right? I would as an advisor have very little information. You need to take these decisions. You can always talk to an advisor who can help you allocate this money in different baskets, but ultimately goals will be yours, right? So everything has to start from you, and then there are people around you who can help you with your asset allocation. Now let's get into the different assets that are available to us. So we have broadly 6 to 7 types of assets. We have equities and stocks. When I say equities and stocks, which means आप directly equities में invest कर रहे हो, आप directly किसी कंपनी का stock खरीद रहे हो, क्योंकि mutual funds भी equities में invest ही करते हैं. So equities and mutual funds, ideally they invest in stocks only, but equities I put it separately because that is direct investing. Mutual funds में you are not directly investing in stocks. You just buy a mutual fund, and that fund manager, whoever is the fund manager managing that mutual fund, will invest in stocks. Third is bonds, where you have fixed returns. Gold, जहाँ पे तो gold is obviously, it's not an income generating asset. We'll get into each of these assets, but gold is one asset, and then property is another asset class that you can invest in. We'll cover all of them. Let's think about how is the risk return of all of these assets. So once you figured out assets, their risk profile, and then we'll see कि हमारा risk और उस asset का risk align होता है कि नहीं for us to take exposure to that asset or investing class. So fundamentally the way finance works is कि अगर आपको ज़्यादा रिटर्न चाहिए तो आपको ज़्यादा रिस्क लेना पड़ेगा लाइफ में, and that is true for every other sphere in life also, कि wherever you want to do something big, you have to go big. When you say go big, take higher return, take higher risk basically. So cash is the lowest risk. आपके हाथ में है, cash is cash, हमेशा रहेगा. बट कैश में भी रिस्क है, वो आप समझ गए होंगे कि इन्फ्लेशन का रिस्क है. सो कैश की वैल्यू भी नीचे जा रही है क्योंकि यहाँ पे इन्फ्लेशन इज ईटिंग इनटू योर कैश. द सेकंड इज गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स, बिकॉज यहाँ पे काउंटर पार्टी गवर्नमेंट होती है. सो गवर्नमेंट टाइम टाइम पे बॉन्ड्स इशू करती है, 8% 9% पे बॉन्ड्स मिलते हैं. आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स में. आप PPF में भी इन्वेस्ट करते हो. आप there are schemes like national saving certificates, then there is KVPY. So all of these schemes are also there. There are RDs also where you can make 7-8% fixed. There is no denial. Nobody will tell you नहीं ये interest आपको नहीं मिलेगा. आपको मिलेगा, fixed मिलेगा, टाइम से मिलेगा. So उसमें रिस्क कम है और रिटर्न फिक्स्ड है. इसके बाद आते हैं कुछ हायर यील्ड फिक्स्ड इनकम, जैसे कॉर्पोरेट्स हो गए. अभी कंपनीज जब लोन फंड रेज करती हैं या बॉन्ड्स के थ्रू फंड रेज करती हैं, तो चूंकि वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा रिस्की होता है तो उसमें रिटर्न का भी चांस ज़्यादा होता है. तो टिपिकली दोज bonds give anywhere from 9, 10, 11%. They are more than the government bonds. 9 to 11, 12% तक भी कभी कभी जाता है. लार्ज कंपनी के जो शेयर्स हैं, जब आप जो कि इक्विटीज में चले आते हैं, तो अभी तक हम बॉन्ड्स की बात कर रहे थे, फिक्स्ड इनकम इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स की बात कर रहे थे. अभी हम इसके आगे लार्ज कैप से, लार्ज कंपनी से स्टार्ट होगा इक्विटीज बेसिकली, कि अब आप स्टॉक्स में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो. तो स्टॉक्स में एनीवेयर लॉन्ग टर्म में 10 to 15% बनता है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर टाइमिंग. You can make anywhere from 10 to 15% returns. If you are investing in a smaller company, it's actually higher risk, but the return potential is also higher. And the most riskiest asset class is venture capital, which a lot of VCs and angel investors do. And if there are rich people out there, they would know, for example, they have a 10, 20, 30 crore portfolio where they allocate 20 lakhs to one stock, one company basically. Most likely it will be a startup जिसमें you are investing. So basically you are taking a lot of exposure early in the company's growth journey. So it's a stated truth कि out of only 1% of businesses actually survive. So it's a high risk because most likely अगर आपने मान लो 10 startups में invest किया, तो आपके 7-8 startups तो ऐसे ही फेल हो जाएंगे, या उसमें से 5-6 बंद हो जाएंगे, 2-3 ठीक ठाक करेंगे, और 1 या 2 ही ऐसे होंगे जो आपके रॉक स्टार स्टार्टअप्स होंगे. जैसे आपने मान लो फ्लिपकार्ट में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, या आपने मीशो में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, या और भी ऐसे बहुत नए नए स्टार्टअप्स जो कि आजकल सब यूनिकॉर्न्स बन रहे हैं. तो अगर आपने ऐसे किसी स्टार्टअप में तब इन्वेस्ट किया होता जब 10 साल पहले वो कंपनी बनी, या वो अपना इनिशियल फंड रेज कर रहे थे, तो बट वो वैसा ही होगा कि उसमें 1 out of 10 भी अगर आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट चल गया, तो यू एंड अप मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ वेल्थ. It will even cover up for the losses for the other 9, and you'll still be making a lot of money. So this is the risk return profile of these asset classes, and we will basically choose these assets basis our risk return profile. है ना? अभी my risk return profile does not allow me to invest in startups. I can still invest in smaller companies, but I can't invest in startups, right? So I avoid that sort of segment. I don't even have the money to deploy that. So there are certain class of people who can invest in certain assets. You need to figure out your bucket. And this particular slide is basically one of the most important slides, क्योंकि there is some people feel कि नहीं property अच्छा होता है, some people say कि नहीं gold अच्छा होता है, and there are different emotions and thought process related to that. But the truth is that equity is the best performing asset across over a long term. So if you look at 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, अगर आपको पैसा बनाना है तो आपको इक्विटीज़ में इन्वेस्ट करना है. Fixed income, gold, cash don't come up to that level as equities does. And equities में यहाँ it is showing 9.93, but typically you would be making double digit returns. So imagine you make 12-13% returns over a 30-year tenure. और आप एक्सेल शीट खोलो और वो मैथ्स करो, आप खुद से सरप्राइज होगे कि अच्छा ये इतना से इतना हो जाएगा. So I advise you do that. You just open an Excel file and then you compound your money by 12-13% every year and see where it goes. And let me tell you, majority of the mutual funds also are not able to match that number. We'll get there, but mutual funds भी higher single digit में ही returns देते हैं, and still we continue to do our SIPs. It's a very good investing behavior, by the way. But then, the more, even if it's a 1%, 2%, 3% incremental that you can create on a compounded basis over a 30-year investing journey, that's a huge delta. You should do the maths, by the way, if you can. So let's now get into each of these asset classes. I'm doing this because the idea is not to tell you कि भाई सारा पैसा जाके equities में लगा दो, है ना? Like I said, break your money into different subsets and then allocate it responsibly depending upon your goals and requirements. So you would want to invest some amount of money in gold as well. And now why gold? See, earlier 1970s 60s or so, जो हमारी करेंसी होती थी उसको गोल्ड से बैक किया जाता था. एवरीथिंग, सो एवरी कंट्री हैड गोल्ड रिजर्व्स, एंड जितने गोल्ड रिजर्व्स होते थे उतना ही करेंसी वो कंट्री प्रिंट करती थी. फिर एक कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ जिसमें डिसाइड हुआ कि नहीं, गोल्ड को करेंसी से डिसोशिएट कर देते हैं, जिसके बाद फिर मनी प्रिंटिंग जो है वो बहुत ही आसान हो गया, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड कि अरे अब पैसा प्रिंट करना चाहिए, तो हाँ प्रिंट करना चाहिए, हमने प्रिंट कर दिया विदाउट थिंकिंग कि हमारे पास उतना गोल्ड है कि नहीं. सो अभी क्या होता है, अभी आप इफ यू लुक एट हाउ फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस बिहेव. So every time there is a financial crisis, and we saw that in 2008-9, and we even saw it during the COVID period also. जैसे ही people start sensing a financial crisis, gold prices start to go. People move their money from equities to gold. So gold is one of the best hedges against equities, even against inflation. क्योंकि gold का value जो है वो कम नहीं होता है. I mean it fluctuates, there is a lot of volatility. But over the long term, you will see that you are making anywhere from 8 to 10% in gold. Over a long term, I am saying. So it does beat inflation, and it is a good hedge against equity, especially during crisis times. है ना? And what are the options available to us? So if you are wanting to invest in gold, how to invest in gold? And I'm not getting into making jewelry and keeping it at home and then using it for personal reasons. That is not investing, because उसमें होता क्या है कि when you buy gold, आप 10 I think 15 से 20% तो आप उसमें मेकिंग चार्जेस दे रहे हो. So 15-20% value just drops right after you come out of the store after buying that gold. So that is not really investing. I don't advise mixing consumption and investing. So consumption is different, you do it for your own personal reasons, but investing में it doesn't have to be buying jewelry which is made and after paying for making charges and all. You can just avoid that. You can just buy bullions or coins. You can invest in gold ETFs. You can invest in gold mutual funds also, and you can also invest in gold sovereign bonds which is issued by RBI. Now isme our recommendation is that you should go for sovereign gold bonds, because one, it gives you gold ka returns, plus it also gives you 2.5% on top of that additional return. And if you hold it for 5 years, उसके बाद फिर आपका capital gain भी नहीं लगता. So within gold, our advice is that you go for sovereign gold bonds. And by the way, this is Gyan, this is not investing advice. Please consult your investment advisor, by the way. I'm just trying to explain what is what. But yeah, sovereign gold bond makes sense versus others investments, because that typically gives you higher returns, and the cost, for example physical gold, either you will keep it at your home or you will keep it in a locker in a bank. So locker में रखोगे तो आपको उसका additional cost incur करना पड़ेगा. गोल्ड म्यूचुअल फंड्स खरीदोगे तो उसमें आपको एक्सपेंस रेशियोज पे करने पड़ते हैं, विच इज़ म्यूचुअल फंड का फीस. सो वो एडिशनल एक्सपेंस आ जाता है. सॉवरेन गोल्ड बॉन्ड में ऐसा कोई एक्सपेंस नहीं होता, तो आपको गोल्ड के रिटर्न्स भी मिलते हैं, प्लस आरबीआई आपको उसके ऊपर से 2.5% एक्स्ट्रा देती है, इसीलिए सॉवरेन गोल्ड बॉन्ड्स. Second is property. Now property, I know a lot of emotional connect related to property, but properties are of two types, commercial and residential. Commercial properties anyway you get 7 to 10% return, and residential तो 2 से 3% है. So personally to my clients I say that if you want to invest, never invest in property. Buy property only if you want to live in that house from an investment point of view. Now if you have other reasons to buy property, it's completely up to you, but अगर आप केवल इन्वेस्टमेंट देखो तो जो आप रेंटल कमाते हो, अगर आपने घर खरीद के उसको रेंट पे डाल दिया तो आपको 2 से 3% से ज़्यादा नहीं मिल सकता. इनफैक्ट बॉम्बे में तो और कम मिलता है. अगर आप थोड़े टियर 2 सिटीज़ में हो तो फिर भी यू विल बी एबल टू मेक 2-2.5%. So if you want to still invest in property and generate rental income, then go for commercial property, क्योंकि वहाँ पे 7 से 10% मिलता है. So buy a shop in a mall, that sort of stuff. But that is still expensive, because वहाँ पे you will need, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 lakhs at least even to buy a shop. So if you don't have so much money, then just invest in 2 instruments. One is real estate investment trust and the other is infrastructure investment trust. Now infrastructure, so real estate invests in, basically उस real estate में क्या होता है, they pool a lot of assets that generate rental income. तो वो क्या करते हैं, वो अभी जैसे मान लो आपका there's a building which is generating rental income, so they will put that building as part of that REIT. You invest in that REIT and you will generate rental income. and you don't have to invest it in large amount. You can also invest smaller amounts basis your budget. So these are some of the names that you see. There is Mindspace REIT, there is Embassy REIT, there are a couple of listed REITs you can just buy just like stocks, and then there are infrastructure investment trusts also, which is basically they invest in infra प्रोजेक्ट्स. सो वो भी रियल एसेट्स ही होते हैं. पावर सेक्टर के प्रोजेक्ट्स हो गए या सोलार पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स हो गए, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के प्रोजेक्ट्स हो गए, जो कि रेगुलर कैश जनरेट करते रहते हैं और वो कैश जो है उनके मेंबर्स या यूनिट होल्डर्स में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होता है. सो अगर आप वो जितने ज़्यादा यूनिट्स होल्ड करोगे आपको उतना यील्ड मिलेगा. अब यहाँ पर यील्ड जो है वो 8 से 10% का मिल जाता है. सो विदाउट रियली ओनिंग अ प्रॉपर्टी you can actually invest in these asset classes and make rental incomes. So you don't really go after property देखना, land देखना, घर देखना, and then you pay a lot of fees on that, tax on that. So why do all that effort? If you just want exposure to real estate and you want to make 9 to 10% income, just invest in REITs and infrastructure related investment trusts. So that's property. Third is mutual funds. अभी म्यूचुअल फंड में क्या होता है, आई एम श्योर लॉट ऑफ यू डू म्यूचुअल फंड्स ईदर डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली, विल कवर दैट. बट when you do when you do mutual funds, so a lot of investors come in, they pool a lot of capital. That capital is deployed by the fund manager in stocks and securities. So essentially you are buying stocks only, your money is deployed in stocks only. Those stocks generate returns, and as they generate returns the NAV goes up, and so you buy at 50 ka NAV and you sell at 100 ka NAV, you've doubled your money. That is the simple maths. And there are a lot of charges. So I have put a table here which is just charges that mutual fund charge. So there is entry load, and then there is recurring expenses, and then there is exit load also. So they charge you at every level. But it is still a decent, if you want to take exposure to stocks without really investing in stocks directly, mutual funds is still a good way. I'm not criticizing mutual funds anyway here, but mind you, the returns that you will make here will not be as great as you had thought you had made by when you were investing in equities. By the way, I want to draw very simple, this a lot of people don't know, so I just thought I'll bring it up. अभी आदित्य बिरला का सन लाइफ डिजिटल इंडिया फंड, इट्स अ रेगुलर प्लान, एंड आदित्य बिरला सन लाइफ डिजिटल फंड, दिस इज अ डायरेक्ट प्लान. So a lot of you would be investing through your distributors. There would be a mutual fund guy you speak to, जो आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैंडल करता होगा, जो आपका म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करवाता होगा. तो ये जो आप देख रहे हो ना 111 रुपये और 120 रुपये का फ़र्क, ये उसका कमीशन है. अब चूंकि आप डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे, आप रेगुलर इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, तो आप उसको इतना कमीशन दे रहे हो. उसको ये कमीशन हर साल जाता है एज लॉन्ग एज यू स्टे इन्वेस्टेड इन दैट म्यूचुअल फंड, एंड मोस्ट लाइकली you will stay invested क्योंकि आप उसमें SIP कर रहे होते हो, या every year you put in a certain amount of money, which is good discipline by the way. But then you are also paying somebody for doing nothing. He's not even advising you, he's not even managing your money. There's a separate fund manager who is deploying your capital, and this guy just gets money just to be there. So he is making a lot of money from you, mind you. So you would want to move your regular funds to direct funds, so that your 111 rupees is actually not 111, it's actually 120. So that 9 rupees you are saving on, imagine 9 rupees on 111 is already close to 8-9%, right? So why pay somebody so much? And this is real data, by the way. I'm not even manufactured. It's not a manufactured example. This is a real example. So that's the difference. So always go for direct plans even when you're investing in mutual funds. How can you do that? Just download Grow or the new brokers that have come. There's an option to directly invest in direct mutual funds. But coming to how the mutual funds are performing, I haven't calculated anything myself. I could have done that, but I am using public data so that you understand that this is a widely known thing. Most equity mutual funds struggle to beat benchmark returns, right? So there's a lot of news out there. I'm sure you would have read कि a lot of funds don't even beat their index, which means कि अगर आप मान लो equities में invest कर रहे हो, अगर आप large cap में invest कर रहे हो, large cap mutual fund में invest किया, अभी उसमें usually benchmark होता है सेंसेक्स या निफ्टी, तो आप सेंसेक्स भी नहीं बीट कर रहे हो, आप निफ्टी भी बीट नहीं कर रहे हो इन मोस्ट ऑफ दीज केसेस, विच मीन्स यू, एंड देन ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट यू आर पेइंग फीस ऑल्सो. 2.5% you are paying to the mutual fund person who is managing that fund for you. So what happens is that you are you are getting lesser returns and paying fees, so your net returns will obviously come down. So typically majority of the mutual funds give you post your expenses 10% less returns. I mean less than 10% returns. आपका डबल डिजिट में भी नहीं बन रहा. If you want, check with your mutual fund distributor, or if you are doing direct mutual funds, then go check your account कि पिछले 5 साल से अगर आप म्यूचुअल फंड कर रहे हो तो आपका कितना परसेंट रिटर्न बना. इट्स गुड टू know that number just to be more intelligent about investing and your own personal finances. So which is why there is a new class of there is a new product that has come in the market, and it is called exchange traded funds. अब exchange traded funds behave exactly like equities. They are actually traded like equities also. तो उसमें क्या है, जब आप equities की तरह ट्रेड करते हो तो उसमें कोई फीस नहीं होता. सो आप देखो ये मैनेजमेंट फी जो है यहाँ पे ETF के केस में नो है. ट्रेडिंग का थोड़ा सा फीस लगता है, वो तो आपको एनीवेज म्यूचुअल फंड में भी लगता है. एक्सचेंज ट्रेडेड फंड में कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट अमाउंट नहीं है. ये मैनेज्ड फंड जो होता है ये पैसिवली मैनेज्ड होता है, मतलब कि इसमें कोई एक्टिव मैनेजमेंट नहीं कर रहा है. कोई म्यूचुअल फंड मैनेजर बैठ के हर दिन उन स्टॉक्स को ट्रैक नहीं कर रहा है. अब द होल पॉइंट इज कि अगर आपको म्यूचुअल फंड जो है वो आपके इंडेक्स को बीट नहीं कर रहा, तो इससे अच्छा आप इंडेक्स में इन्वेस्ट कर लो. Why don't you put your money in index and pay lower fees versus paying a mutual fund guy who is actually giving you lower returns than the index, and then उसको आप 2-2.5% फीस भी दे रहे हो. Like, इससे अच्छा तो आप ETFs में इन्वेस्ट कर लो. Very easy way to invest in mutual funds. Sorry, ETFs basically. Just go to your Demat account, search for the ETF, and you can buy it like stocks, right? And these ETFs, and there are some very good ETFs out there where you can have exposure to US markets also. If let's say within India, how do you invest in US? For example, there is, I'm not sure if you can see my screen right now, but there is a ETF called MAFNG, which is मेरे asset NYSE FANG. ये क्या करता है, US के top 10 जो टेक्नोलॉजी कंपनीज है उसका ETF है. तो remember, तो imagine you can actually invest in Apple and Google and all of these companies by through an ETF, जहाँ पे आप फीस भी बहुत कम पे कर रहे हो, and you have exposure to US securities sitting in India. Right, so that's the sort of I mean my personal preference. So honestly, I am not invested in any mutual fund till date. आज तक 7-8 साल में एक भी म्यूचुअल फंड नहीं खरीदा है, just because of this reason. The other reason I'll tell you कि why do most mutual funds underperform? वो इसलिए क्योंकि they invest in 50 to 76 stocks. In some cases they also invest in 100 plus stocks. So if you are taking exposure to 100 plus stocks, you are as good as the index fund. राइट, फिर तो आप कैसे इंडेक्स को बीट करोगे अगर आप 100 कंपनीज में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो. एंड देन उस पर आपके लिमिटेशंस होते हैं कि एक लार्ज कैप जो है वो स्मॉल कैप और मिड कैप में नहीं इन्वेस्ट कर सकता. देन देर आर सेक्टोरल फंड्स ऑल्सो कि हम केवल लॉजिस्टिक्स में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, हम केवल रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, हम केवल कमोडिटीज़ में इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. एंड दीज आर साइक्लिकल थिंग्स. एक रियल एस्टेट, एक कमोडिटी, एक अलग अलग जो सेक्टोरल चीज़ें हैं उनका टाइम आता है. वो हमेशा ऐसा नहीं है कि they go in cycles. So if you yourself are not sure कि whether the auto cycle is going to come or not, or there's a commodity boom going to happen, how can you do SIPs in a mutual fund for 10 years which is investing in commodities, right? So a lot of these things we don't know because we just do it because in most likely situation we are not aware of these things, and that's the whole point why we are doing this seminar. So just be more, get slightly into your investment, see what returns they are generating. आपको पैसा बन भी रहा है कि नहीं बन रहा है, आप जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर से डील करते हो वो कितना फीस ले रहा है आपसे. वेरी बेसिक स्टफ, बट यू शुड डू दिस बिकॉज यू विल सेव अ लॉट ऑफ मनी. यू विल सी कि आपका वो जो सेविंग है ना वो इंक्रीमेंटली साल में आपके 1 से 2% ज़्यादा रिटर्न देता है. एंड ओवर 30 ईयर व्हेन यू गेट दैट 2% इंक्रीमेंटल रिटर्न, that will make a huge difference to your wealth. Now I will come to equities, which is our favorite topic as wealth culture. We are mostly investing in equities. We do more of that as a direct. अभी मैं आपको कुछ ऐसे स्टॉक्स के नाम बताता हूँ जो आई एम श्योर आपने सुने होंगे, बट आप नंबर्स मे बी आपको शायद पता हो या ना हो। तो अगर पिडिलाइट जैसी कंपनी आप उठाओगे, पिछले 10 साल में स्टॉक ने 30% का एनुअल CAGR दिया है। अभी मैंने आपको दिखाया कि अगर आप 10 साल सेंसेक्स में इन्वेस्ट करते तो आप मोस्ट लाइकली डबल डिजिट रिटर्न बनाते, 10, 12, 13, 10 से 15% कहीं भी आप इंडेक्स बनाता है। लेकिन आप कुछ स्पेसिफिक स्टॉक्स अगर मैं इन्वेस्ट करूं जो कि बहुत अच्छी कंपनीज हैं, तो आप उसमें 25-30% तक बना सकते हो रिटर्न ओवर द लॉन्ग टर्म। अभी मैं लॉन्ग टर्म क्यों करता हूँ, इसमें आप देखो 1 ईयर पिडिलाइट का पिछले 1 साल का रिटर्न -4% है। सो लेट से यू हैव इन्वेस्टेड इन स्टॉक्स, यू कम टू द स्टॉक मार्केट थिंकिंग कि हाँ आई विल पुट माई 100 रुपीज टूडे एंड इन 1 ईयर टाइम इट शुड बिकम 200। ऐसा नहीं होता है। स्टॉक्स ऑल्सो टेक टाइम टू ग्रो। सो इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन FD विच इज इन्वेस्टेड फॉर 5 years, राइट, आप हर दिन तो जाके ये नहीं देखते कि हाँ मेरा FD इतना हुआ कि नहीं, डबल हुआ कि नहीं, ट्रिपल हुआ। आपको पता है उस पर 7 से 8% रिटर्न बनेगा, आप उसमें खुश हो, एंड यू डोंट इवन टच इट फॉर 5 years, 10 years. So when you can be so patient about your fixed deposits, why not be a little more patient about your equities? So if you start becoming more and more patient about your stocks that you are investing, then you will see that you are making anywhere from 4 to 5% higher returns than any other asset class. And that 4 to 5% incrementally over 30-year period will just be huge money. Similar is TCS, similar is Titan. Titan, for example, 10-year CAGR is 23%. TCS 10-year CAGR is 18%. Now you do the maths, open an Excel sheet, compound anything at 18% over a 30-year journey, you will be surprised by the amount of wealth you will make, right? So that is why we also, as WealthCulture, we have more interest in doing just equities. एंड इसमें हमारा काम यही होता है कि हम ऐसे स्टॉक्स को पकड़ें जो डूबे ना। अभी जैसे ये इक्विटीज फॉर ऑल दैट वी सेड इन द फर्स्ट स्लाइड, सेकेंड स्लाइड में देर आर ऑल्सो एग्जाम्पल्स विच गेट योर मनी टू जीरो। 100 रुपये लगाओगे, इट विल कम डाउन टू 2-3 रुपीज, इट विल ट्रेड लाइक अ पेनी स्टॉक, एंड दीज आर एग्जाम्पल्स। DHFL, Yes Bank, Suzlon, Syntex, these are classic examples of companies that have destroyed wealth big time, right? So am I telling you कि कल जाओ कोई भी स्टॉक उठाओ इन्वेस्ट करो? नहीं। देयर वेरी फ्यू कंपनीज ओवर द लॉन्ग टर्म क्रिएट द सॉर्ट ऑफ वेल्थ दैट यू आर सीइंग हियर, राइट? सो फर्स्ट यू नीड टू पिक अप द राइट स्टॉक्स. सेकंड, you have to stay invested for the right amount of time also. You have to give your investments time. You have to be patient, just like you are patient with your property, just like you are patient with your FDs. You have to be patient with equities also. This is not a game where you come in today and then you double your money in 1 year and then you go back all rich. That's not how it works. But in 20 to 30 years time, you will definitely get rich, and you will have a lot of wealth to pass on to your kids also. So what are the basic tenets of investing in equities directly? One is that you have to always prefer quality over quantity. अच्छी कंपनीज में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए जिसका रिटर्न अच्छा हो, जिसके ग्रोथ अच्छा हो, and if you give it time, it will give you returns. Second is valuation matter. So, and this is a slightly more technical subject when we start getting into valuation, because अच्छे तो हमें सब पता है, हमें भी पता है कि TCS, Infosys, Asian Paints, all of these companies are good. So why not go and invest right away? In fact, that is not a problem. In fact, it is said that you shouldn't try and time the market. You should just go and invest, by the way. But ठीक है, हम क्या करते हैं, हम अपनी तरफ से बिकॉज वी थिंक वी नो मोर, तो हम वैल्यूएशन पे भी थोड़ा ध्यान देते हैं। हम देखते हैं कि अच्छा TCS अभी थोड़ा महंगा चल रहा है, अगले 4-5 महीने में या 6 महीने में रिटर्न नहीं देगा, तो हम थोड़ा वेट करते हैं। वी होल्ड आवर कैश सो दैट वी कैन मेक 2-3% हायर रिटर्न्स वर्सेस एन इन्वेस्टर हु इज not worrying about timing the market. He is anyways going to basically every month he is doing SIPs on a regular basis without giving worrying about कि अच्छा अभी ऊपर है वैल्यूएशन, नीचे वैल्यूएशन, he is doing it anyway. तो we think we can generate a little more alpha. So अगर मान लो आप 12-13% बनाते हो just by doing SIPs, we think we can make at least 3-4% more by giving slight more importance to valuation. The third important thing is EQ is more important than IQ. अभी if you look at the top 20-30 stocks, you would also know, या आप गूगल कर लो कि टॉप 30 गुड स्टॉक्स टू इन्वेस्ट, यू विल गेट दैट लिस्ट. इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं आपको कुछ अलग बता दूंगा. बट होता क्या है कि वो जो इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी है व्हेन यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग, And when you are facing that volatility, that is not easy to get. That is something that you learn over a period of time. अगर कल स्टॉक मार्केट 1500 पॉइंट नीचे चले जाए, आपका स्टॉक 5% नीचे गिर जाए, तो आप में वो पेशेंस होना चाहिए, वो इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, सो दैट यू डोंट रिएक्ट to it. You don't get afraid of it. You are not in a panic situation that no, my investments are going negative, let me sell and get out. If you sell and get out, you've actually sold a company that was about to give you 15-20% returns. उस पे आपने एक लॉस बुक करके एग्जिट मारा, right? So that is why EQ is more important than IQ. Stocks, anybody can tell you these are the good stocks, keep doing SIPs, but it is your emotional stability which will tell you to be patient with your investments even when the market is doing very bad. See, current situation, we've come down from 60,000 Sensex to more like 52, 53,000. A lot of people, my portfolio myself is in loss right now. And I am saying this across the industry, people are sitting in losses. And some people are getting jittery every day. They are saying, no, I can't take up more and more losses. And then people are saying, okay, let me sell in loss and get out of the market. But the whole point is that's where your emotional stability comes into picture. If you can't hold an investment for 5-6 years, how can you make 17%, 18% CAGR on that? Just not possible. So that is what I want to come to. And so this discussion is more to focus on passive investing. कि so better you invest in mutual funds. फिर आप जाओ 8-9% तो एटलीस्ट बनाओ मार्केट में, है ना, वर्सेस 12-13%. अगर आपको खुद नहीं समझ में आ रहा, क्योंकि म्यूचुअल फंड में आपको अपने डीमैट अकाउंट में जाके चेक नहीं करना पड़ता, आप डेली बेसिस पे अपना डीमैट अकाउंट खोल के नहीं देखते कि हाँ प्रॉफिट में है कि लॉस में. तो इससे अच्छा फिर म्यूचुअल फंड्स कर लो, which is the second best thing that you can do, obviously, after direct equities, where you can put your money in very good companies. You don't have to take exposure to 60-70 companies. You can just take exposure to good 15-20 companies where you can keep putting more and more money, and it will give you stupendous returns over a 20-30 year period, right? So bottom line is कि equities undoubtedly have the highest return generating potential, but you, first of all, you have to get into the right assets, and second, you have to be emotionally stable. And both of these things are under your control. No matter what the market situation, if you can buy good assets and keep your emotions under control, you will still make money, no matter what the environment is. And people have made money. I mean, the chart that I'm showing you is a 10-year chart. Is 10-year chart में बहुत कुछ हुआ है इंडिया में, बहुत कुछ हुआ globally. A lot of crashes happened, a lot of events happened, and people thought this is the end of the world. But no, these stocks kept generating returns. So that's my point. The world will not come to an end, and if the world comes to an end, then anyway nothing matters. Even your savings don't matter, and even these investments don't matter. But if you think the world is not coming to an end, then don't sell your equities for loss. Be more emotionally stable and stay invested for the long term. Now, for somebody who wants to now start investing, what should you do? I mean, after you've ended this webinar, what should you do? Basically, calculate how much spare cash you can invest in equities or mutual funds or gold or whatever. Go back, check your bank account, how much you can move from your savings to your investings, and what are the asset classes that you are comfortable with given your own investment profile. Basis whether you are आप रिस्क अवर्स हो, आप रिस्की हो, आपके पास 3 साल है इन्वेस्ट करने में, आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता 5 साल अगर मैं रिटर्न ना भी बनाऊं या 2 साल रिटर्न में ना भी बनाऊं तो भी यू आर फाइन विद इट. Then basis that you should basically select those assets, and as part of this process also consult an advisor. It could be us, it could be someone else. Just talk to your advisor what you need to do, and when you talk to an advisor, make sure that you are not paying 2-2.5% से ज़्यादा का fees, and I'll come to that. But अगर आप मान लो 15% रिटर्न बनाते हो, 2% का फीस देते हो, तो आपका नेट रिटर्न इज ओनली 13%. So do that maths, okay? Don't it's a very basic math, that if you've generated 20% returns and you are paying 5% fees to somebody, your net return is only 15%. So do that math, make sure that you are paying less and less fees. And इसमें जो सबसे important चीज़ है, and also be a part of a community. So what we'll also try and do is we are also building a community on Telegram, so you can be part of that community. So you will basically keep learning, and as when you keep learning, you mature as an investor. it has taken us, some time to be more mature about our investing and even our clients' money. So, you know, be in that circle so that you know what is happening, so that you know about which assets are doing well, which assets are not doing well, how you should move, and be more intelligent about it. And you can be more intelligent by just being in that community, so that you are aware of what is happening and what is not happening. Just don't ignore कि नहीं ये मुझे नहीं करने का है, somebody else will take care, my husband will take care, or my father will take care. uh, you should try and take control of your finances to be more financially stable. uh, Generally I am saying people should do that. They shouldn't actually completely rely on someone else to do it. In fact, my wife was doing FDs for quite a while now. She works in a bank and she was doing only FDs. Why? Because the bank gave 1% additional returns. So she just put all her money in FDs. And then, very recently, 2 years back, she started doing mutual funds after. She's still not doing direct equities, but she started doing mutual funds. So I'm saying start doing, and then you will experience for yourself how it helps you in your investment journey. Now, the other thing is, when you invest in something, then don't panic. Let compounding do its job, right? Compounding will do its job when you do nothing, basically. You just leave the money there. There are companies, there are people, there are employees who are working day and night to create wealth for you. As an equity shareholder, think of it as you are owning a company. So if you buy TCS ka shares, you are part owner of TCS, which means the 2 lakh employees who are working as part of TCS are actually working day and night to make money for you as a shareholder. So you have to give them time to make money for you, right? You can't expect कि हाँ आज जाके वो कल मेरा पैसा डबल कर देगा. They will get new clients for you. They will increase the margins for you. They will get into new geographies to do more business. All of that will take time, and hence your money will also take time to grow. So I mean, if you are more coming from a trading and a short-term investing psychology, you have to be you have to become a trader basically. I'm saying this for people who want to invest in the long term, not really do trading or not really do short-term investing. But if you're investing for the long term, then you have to give your investments the time. जिस कंपनी में आपने इन्वेस्ट किया, आप उसके सीईओ को टाइम दो कि वो आपको बिजनेस को ग्रो करे, नए क्लाइंट्स लेके आए, नए बिजनेसेस एवेन्यूज ढूंढे, नए हायर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी जनरेट करे, और ये सब चीज़ों में टाइम लगता है. सो यू हैव टू बी पेशेंट दैट वे. So how can we help? Just quick background about what we do. So we are like I said, we are a SEBI registered firm. हम भी direct advice करते हैं. We do more direct equity. So we advise our investors on what to buy and sell. We know you have your own jobs to do. You don't have the time to research. You don't have the time to put in. There are 7,000 plus listed companies out there. We research, we bring you 10 to 15 stocks to invest. So that is what we do. हम दिन भर बैठ के research करते रहते हैं. We study about companies, their business models, how they are making money, and then after all that analysis, we come back to and say, okay, fine, these are the 10 stocks to invest. Please put your money here. And तो हमारा अप्रोच ऐसा रहता है कि हम कोर प्लस सैटेलाइट अप्रोच पे काम करते हैं. कुछ ऐसे स्टॉक्स होते हैं जिनमें लॉन्ग टर्म ट्रेंड्स होती हैं, हम उनको टच नहीं करते. कुछ ऐसे स्टॉक्स होते हैं जहाँ पे कि साइक्लिकल प्ले होता है. अभी जैसे बैंकिंग और ऑटो सेक्टर में साइकिल हैज स्टार्टेड पिकिंग अप. Over the next few years or so, you will see a lot of buzz about auto companies doing well, banking sector doing well. We identified this last year. We've been invested in this from March, Feb this year, right? Since we started our portfolios. So these are trends that we pick up and then we invest basis these trends. ये 3 से 4 साल वाली trends होती हैं. So हम कुछ stocks वहाँ से भी लेते हैं और कुछ stocks हम core रखते हैं. कुछ core मतलब हम उनसे छेड़खानी नहीं करते. We don't sell them. We in fact ask our clients to invest more and more basis the valuation and the market situation. So we take all the macro and the micro into consideration before advising our clients. But ultimately the core thing is this, that we scan 7,000 plus companies and we bring to you 10 to 15 ideas to invest. अभी हम 50-60 में बिलीव नहीं करते तो हम 10 से 15 ही करते हैं. और ये हमारा, and this is our differentiation. We are basically invested along with you. So 10 से 15 स्टॉक्स में जो हम आपको एडवाइस करते हैं, हमारे पोर्टफोलियोज भी आप आओ मेरे से मिलो. यू आस्क मी टू show me my portfolio, you will find that I'm invested in the same stocks, right? So that is our conviction, that we put our money where we are asking you to put your money. दूसरा, we have, we are a good team. My background, my colleague, we are, we believe we kind of have all the knowledge. We've done it in the past. We've done it for ourselves, and we are doing it for our clients. And we manage these portfolios on a daily basis. We track them. You don't have the time to do it because you're busy doing your job. So we do it for you. We track all our portfolios on a daily basis to see कि कुछ ऐसा एडवर्स तो नहीं हो रहा कि हमें इन कंपनीज को बेचनी पड़ेगी. अगर कुछ एडवर्स हो गया या ऐसा कुछ हो गया कि वी आर थीसिस चेंजेस, then we exit those stocks, and that is what we track on a daily basis. Then we have our risk management framework. So we make sure कि we are focusing on capital protection, ताकि जिस भी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करें वो तुक्का ना हो. हम तुक्का नहीं मारते. हमारे अगर 10 इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं तो 10 के 10 वैसे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं जहाँ पे हमको कॉन्फिडेंस है. फिर भी उसमें ऐसा होता है कि 10 में से 5-6 चलते हैं, 2-3 बहुत अच्छा करते हैं, और 1-2 ऐसे होते हैं जो उतना अच्छा नहीं करते या लॉस भी देते हैं. तो आपको एज अ पोर्टफोलियो लेके चलना है. इंडिविजुअल स्टॉक्स में everything may not pan out the way you thought it will be, because future is not in our control, but what we can do is diversify enough and then have our risk management practices in place, and then we will also have very honest communication with you. So अगर कुछ होगा, आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन देनी है, आपको बताना है क्या खरीदना है, क्या बेचना है, या आपको ये भी बताना है कि क्यों ये खरीदा या बेचा, तो you can always, we will be very proactive in telling you why you are buying this, so that you also have conviction when you are buying those assets. And these are, our fundamental selection process. Risk और reward हम लेके चलते हैं. अगर जहाँ पे ज़्यादा रिस्क ले रहे हैं वहाँ पे रिवॉर्ड भी अलाइन होना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं हो कि रिस्क ज़्यादा ले रहे हैं, रिवॉर्ड अलाइन नहीं. एंड we should fundamentally like these businesses. We should like the promoters of these companies. They should be honest, smart people, and it should be available at a reasonable valuation. On इसमें revenue growth बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर बिजनेस ग्रो नहीं कर रहा तो हम उसमें कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं लेंगे, हम उसमें एंट्री नहीं लेंगे. एंड कुछ पॉजिटिव ट्रिगर्स होने चाहिए कि इंडस्ट्री कुछ ऐसे अलाइन हो रही है, इंडस्ट्री में कुछ ऐसे डेवलपमेंट्स हो रहे हैं जिनसे हमारी पोर्टफोलियो कंपनीज को फ़ायदा हो, बिजनेस साइकिल ऐसे चेंज हो रहा है कि पोर्टफोलियो कंपनी को फ़ायदा हो, या मैनेजमेंट ऐसा चेंज हो रहा है कि हमारी पोर्टफोलियो कंपनी उससे फ़ायदे में है. सो ये सब चीज़ें हम ट्रैक करते हैं, स्टडी करते हैं. अब ये हमारे 2 पोर्टफोलियोज हैं. सो बेसिकली बिकॉज वी आर सेबी रजिस्टर्ड, सो वी आर ऑल्सो ऑन स्मॉल केस. हमारे 2 पोर्टफोलियोज हैं, स्मॉल एंड मिड कैप एंड लार्ज कैप टाइटल्स. स्मॉल एंड मिड कैप जो है वो थोड़ा रिस्की पोर्टफोलियो है. तो मैंने जैसे बताया आपको, ये रिस्की इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए है जो कि इन्वेस्टिंग फॉर द लॉन्ग टर्म, जिनको कि शॉर्ट टर्म में लॉस हो तो चलेगा एंड दे आर फाइन विद इट. बट देन उसका अपसाइड क्या है कि ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड यू विल मेक गुड रिटर्न्स. यहाँ पे 3 मंथ रिटर्न नेगेटिव इसलिए दिख रहा है क्योंकि सिंस वी स्टार्टेड द मार्केट्स हैव ओनली करेक्टेड. बट द वे आई वुड थिंक ऑफ इट इज़ कि ये पोर्टफोलियो आज के दिन पे 20 से 25% हमारे जितने भी स्टॉक्स हैं सब हमारे वैल्यूएशन से 20 से 25% और सस्ता मिल रहा है. सो एक्चुअली वी आर आस्किंग ऑल आर एक्जिस्टिंग क्लाइंट्स टू बाय मोर एंड मोर. द लार्ज कैप पोर्टफोलियो कन्वर्सली इफ यू लुक एट, पिछले 2 महीने में केवल 5% रिटर्न, नेगेटिव 5% रिटर्न है, जबकि मार्केट 30% से ज़्यादा करेक्ट हुआ है. एज इन लॉट ऑफ स्टॉक्स हैव करेक्टेड बाई 20 to 30%. So from that point I would say कि हाँ, ये इसमें capital protection है and it will get back up when once. So these companies are also available at 5 to 6% discount. This portfolio overall is available at a 5 to 6% discount right now. Once the market starts improving and we get out of the war and inflation के थोड़े concerns जो कम हो जाएंगे तो फिर market will again get back up. So whatever FI selling has happened, that FI selling will reverse. A lot of FI money will start to come back and then the markets will be ready. So actually this is a very good time to invest. And in that context now I want to touch a little bit about the fees also. अभी हमने अपने fees ऐसे रखी है कि 2-2.5% से ज़्यादा आपको ना देना पड़े. हमारा जो टारगेट ऑडियंस रहता है, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया, हम लोग we don't go after very rich people, right? Obviously we would like to have those clients, but I'm not saying we are looking to go after those clients. We are looking to go after the retail customers जिनको कोई बताने वाला नहीं है कि क्या करें ना करें. इसलिए अगर आप 1 लाख भी इन्वेस्ट करते हो तो हमारा फीस जैसे 6 महीने का 2,000 है, और अगर आप 1 साल का लेते हो तो 3,500 है. तो 1 से 1.5 लाख इन्वेस्ट करते हो ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 1 ईयर्स, तो यू आर पेइंग 3%, mota mota 3%, and you can bring it down. So there's no cap. If you invest 5 lakhs, then my fees will come down to less than 1%, right? And we are available full time to tell you what to buy and not. If you have any concerns, just give us a call. कि भाई ये stock इतना गिर गया क्या करें? We are here to mentally support you in this journey because we think emotionally support करना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है rather than और कोई support. As an investor, that becomes very very critical. That if I am able to help you hold a certain stock while it is at 10% loss, let's say, then I can guarantee that you will make good returns. I mean, these stocks can go 20-30% up. They are from our point of view multi baggers, जिसे हम कहते हैं कि हाँ ये 3 से 4 साल में डबल ट्रिपल होने वाले स्टॉक्स होते हैं जो हम 10 से 15 सेलेक्ट करते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा थीसिस ये नहीं है कि किसी स्टॉक में 15% बनाए कि 20% बनाए. हमारा थीसिस ये रहता है, इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज ऐसे रहते हैं कि वो 3 से 4 साल में बिजनेस का ग्रोथ वैसा आएगा कि वो स्टॉक डबल या ट्रिपल हो जाएगा. दैट इज हाउ वी गो अबाउट आवर सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस. So that's about me. I think I have exceeded my time limit. If you have any questions, I am open to take any questions right now. Uh, just type in the chat box and I can take any questions that you have right now. So I see there's one question already. What's the right amount of time for stocks investing? See, stocks investing, the way to think about time is that uh, there is no, honestly you have to keep doing this. मतलब अगर आप stocks में invest कर रहे हो तो why would you get out of the market? Don't get out of the market. If you are investing now, then do it for 20-30 years, as long as you can invest, because every year that you add to your investment will उस पे compounding उतना ज़्यादा होगा. बट या ऑब्वियसली वी प्ले अराउंड विद द स्टॉक्स दैट वी इन्वेस्ट. हम किसी भी स्टॉक में को ट्रैक करते रहते हैं और अगर उसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट थीसिस अच्छी होती है तो ही उसमें इन्वेस्टेड रहते हैं. बट लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टिंग, देर आर स्टॉक जैसे टीसीएस इन्फोसिस हो गया, यू कैन कीप होल्डिंग फॉर 10-15-20 years एंड इट विल कीप मेकिंग मनी फॉर यू. एंड देन देर आर साइक्लिकल स्टॉक्स जो 5 से 6 महीने के होते हैं, या उनमें उनमें 1 से 2 साल वाले भी होते हैं जहाँ पे कि साइक्लिकल इन्वेस्टिंग कर रहे हो या कमोडिटी इन्वेस्टिंग कर रहे हो. तो यू हैव टू बी अवेयर ऑफ द साइकिल्स एंड योर सो दैट यू बाय एट द बॉटम एंड सेल एट द टॉप, राइट. होता क्या है कि पीपल बाय एट द टॉप एंड देन दे जस्ट सिट थ्रू ऑल द वाइल होल्डिंग दो स्टॉक्स इन लॉस, एंड देन दे से दैट इन्वेस्टिंग इज नॉट वर्किंग. बट यू हैव टू बी एबल टू से कि हाँ ये साइक्लिकल स्टॉक है, ये लॉन्ग टर्म स्टॉक है. अब ये लॉन्ग टर्म स्टॉक है तो ये मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में 15-20 साल भी रहेगा तो मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. लेकिन अगर ये साइक्लिकल स्टॉक है, देन आई हैव टू टाइम इट. इफ आई एम नॉट एबल टू टाइम इट, देन आई हैव टू स्टे अवे फ्रॉम इट और seek somebody else's advice who is advising you actively and he understands those business cycles to tell you कि हाँ अब पेपर इंडस्ट्री में बूम आने वाली है, या अब सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री में बूम आने वाली है, या अब स्टील इंडस्ट्री में बूम आने वाली है. तो उस तरह से आपको यू हैव टू बेसिकली लुक एट द स्टॉक इटसेल्फ एंड सी वेदर you can invest in 10-15 years or not. But yeah, generally, I mean, like you do FDs all your life, you have to invest in markets all your life. That is how you create wealth. Any other questions? I mean, you can just anything that you have, equities, mutual funds, ETFs, property, gold, whatever you want, just type it out there. So I guess there are no more questions right now. But if you have any questions, just let me know. I mean, I'm available. My email ID is ujjwal@wealthculture.in. Our contact number is also available on our website. You can call us anytime, discuss your portfolio, your investment strategy. So, so there's a question: do you guys evaluate your existing portfolio? Yes, we do. We are, in fact, constantly evaluating our portfolios, looking for whether we कि कुछ adverse तो नहीं हो रहा. Our portfolio companies are doing well. If our portfolio companies are not doing well, then there is no point of staying invested in the long term in them. सो परफॉर्मेंस आनी चाहिए तो ही हम उसमें इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. अगर कंपनी परफॉर्म नहीं कर रही, क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर उसके रिजल्ट्स अच्छे नहीं आ रहे, तो वी विल एग्जिट दो स्टॉक्स and we'll put that money somewhere else, which is why we are saying we are very concentrated. We pick 10 to 15 good stocks. So do you also advise clients regarding investment in US markets? We do. There are, couple of, like I mentioned, that ETF. So there are a couple of mutual funds, ETFs, where you, through which you can invest in US markets also. And it is good to have some sort of uh, international exposure. स्पेशली टेक में अगर आपके पास इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर हो तो बहुत ही अच्छा होता है. अदरवाइज हाउ वुड यू इन्वेस्ट इन ग्लोबल बेस्ट ब्रांड्स लाइक एप्पल, गूगल, Nvidia, yeah, Amazon, companies like this. So yeah, we do help companies. We do help our investors basically invest in US markets. Sure. I mean, this video will be live on YouTube after this. We'll just upload it on YouTube and will be available for anybody and everybody to see. Yeah, we can evaluate your portfolio. So if you have existing portfolios, we are happy to have a look at it and suggest any changes. Uh, and yeah, I mean we are up for it. Just email us your portfolio, give us a call. We will be happy to evaluate your portfolio and suggest changes if any required, either in your mutual fund portfolio or in your equity portfolio. Any other questions? So cool. I mean, just to conclude, I would only say that start investing. Um, Investing is a great way to build your wealth. Do it on your own. I mean, I'm sure in families what happens is your husband might be investing, your father might be investing, and you sort of don't look into it so much, but you should because that's the only way to be financially independent. And generally one should try to be financially independent, not just financially independent but create your wealth. So why let that money stay in your FDs when you can make higher returns? Also, but do make sure that you are breaking it up into parts and keeping your emergency funds as your emergency funds, keeping your spare, using only your spare cash to invest. So that way you are protected in situations where you need cash in an emergency. It can be a medical emergency or any emergency for that matter. And then just be more consistent. Yeah, you can invest as low as 500, but it has to be. I mean, if you are directly investing in equities, you will buy very less shares. But yeah, you could start with mutual funds also. There are mutual funds out there when you can start with as low as 500 rupees. Uh, you know, the fees on that is also very less. But yeah, it's possible. In fact, if you buy, for example, there are ETFs. So that Mafang ETF was 37-38 rupees. 500 रुपये में आपका 15 यूनिट्स आ जाएगा, 15 units sort of. So, so with 500 rupees, basically you have now exposure to US equities. You've invested in companies like Amazon, Flipkart, sorry, Amazon, Facebook, Google, and that sort of companies. So yeah, right. So I guess we could end this session, and if you have any other questions, we are also available anytime. Just mail us, give us a call, ping us on WhatsApp, and we'll be more than happy to look at your uh, finances, investments, and suggest changes if any. And uh, you know, let's create wealth for you. That's our own whole agenda. And like I said, even if you're looking to invest 1 lakhs over a year, our services are priced in such a way that you will find us valuable. So with that, I end this stream. Thanks a lot for your time today. Really appreciate the time you've given us on a Saturday morning, and I wish you lots of good fortunes. In your investing journey. Do this for a very long period of time. Don't get out of the market soon. Over a period of time, you will realize its importance. So, thank you and have a great investing journey. Thanks a lot.